What's up, fish tank people? Just doing a quick update on the tanks. Just did water changes. Well, in the process of a water change on the 5-gallon. But since I've added my new lights, we got some pretty good growth. If you look down here on the Rotala, this one's actually starting to split into two, but it was only about that tall this time last week. The Anacris is growing too, but I mean, Anacris grows with no light, so that one doesn't really count. Got the Anubias with some new leaves. The putting out some new leaves. And the Barterite putting out some new leaves. The lace plant, I don't know if you can see it, but there's two more sprouting up in the very center. The wisteria with some new leaves. They'd be the lighter ones, or the new, I guess those are its higher light leaves instead of the low light that they were in. And the needle leaf Ludwigia. Stuff's growing into a bush, and I think it looks great. The Rotala magenta finally starting to grow up instead of just out. And there's some more in the back right here, which is growing. Crypts with some new leaves. All of them. And my little crypts sprouting everywhere. That's a whole new plant starting. That's a new plant, that's a new plant, that's a new plant. This is a new sag plant. That sag over there has a runner off of it. The snail's covering it, but there's a new runner right there. And these crypts have new growth on them. Red Nisea, red as always. Corkscrew valve with some new growth in the center. And I think it's finally starting to come together. So let's take a look at 5-gallon. Looks like crap doing a water change on it, but this is how I do it, by the way. If any of you looking for an easy way to do water changes and fill them slow so you don't disturb your substrate and your plants, take a bucket, mark it out, fill it with however much water your tank holds, and you can fill it up, set it on top of the tank, and just run a small airline tubing for the siphon. And I was getting a lot of evaporation, and I didn't want to go out and buy a top for this, so I just took a Ziploc bag and I cut it open. Can't really see it, but right here you can see it's plastic. I stretched it out and taped it real tight in the corners and cut a hole right here for the filter. And as you can see, all the water droplets on there, I'm not losing nearly as much water as I was. I was filling this thing up about a quarter of it every 3 or 4 days. So, in this tank, we got some good growth. Try to get some light on the Ludwigia. Down here, this is all Ludwigia. It's splitting. It's growing a new stalk off of the one. All the way up it's doing that. It's throwing out these roots. You can kind of see them in here. The sag, as you can see, it's getting huge. This Limnophylla is getting pretty tall. It's actually starting to split at the top. I don't know if you can see it. Hair grass with some runners. And then all the crypts are starting to spread. I think with this tank, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to let it be like a grow out tank. I'm not going to do anything as far as maintenance to it unless the plants are growing extremely, extremely tall. I'm just going to let them grow and see what they do. I'm not going to touch them. Keep adding fertilizers. I'm dosing this one and the other one with Excel and iron. And I'm just going to let it grow out and do its thing. So, there you go. There's an update on the tanks.